Hi everyone, today I am going to explain an experiment on resource and process management using Task Manager. So in this slide, we observed how different applications use system resources from the data Task Manager. Each application consumes resource differently. The browser uses more memory because it manages multiple tabs and background process. The Microsoft Word uses moderate memory for document editing. Calculator uses very little CPU and memory since it performs simple operation. Next we analyze process types. The browser behaves as a CPU bound process because it performs tasks like rendering web pages. Finally, when we look into the memory and use minimal CPU when idle. Finally, when Microsoft Word is minimized and calculator is kept in the foreground, the operating system gives more CPU time to foreground process, which improves responsiveness. On the second slide, on this page, we observe process behavior and power usage. When calculator is entered and reopened, its process ID changes. This happens because the operator use system assigns a new PID every time a process starts. Next we observe power usage. The browser consumes more power because it uses CPU, memory and network resources. Calculator consumes very little power due to its simple operation. On the next page, we observe system behavior during different operations. When a video is played in the CPU, otherwise in a browser, CPU and memory usage increases. This is because the system needs to decode video, buffer data and render graphics. Next, when saving a worldwide disk write speed and active time increases temporarily. This shows that the system is writing data to the disk. Finally, the memory usage indicates how RAM is currently used. For example, out of 8 GB RAM, around 5 GB may be used and 3 GB is available. High memory usage means more application can run in the system. On the fourth slide, on this page, we analyze CPU time, background processes, and network usage. CPU time represents how long the CPU works on the process, and calculator uses very little CPU time, while Microsoft uses slightly more. Next, even when the browser is minimized, CPU time consumes and continues to increase if audio is playing. Finally, the browser uses high network resources because it loads web pages and videos. Microsoft Word uses very little or no network since it mainly works with local files. On the fifth slide, on this page, we study process management. Each application has a unique process ID which helps the operation tracks and manages process efficiently. When we use end task, it stops only the selected process. End process tree stops the process along with all its child process. This shows that some applications run multiple editors process. Next, when process priority is set to high, the application gets more CPU preference and becomes more responsible. Its performance decreases especially during heavy tasks like loading web pages or videos. On the final slide, we observe that limiting a browser to one CPU core reduces performance. This demonstrates that modern operating systems use multi-core processing and parallel execution to improve performance and efficiency. Thank you.